It's Monday, August 17th, 2026, and this is episode 366 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, I decided to go to Vegas.
Yeah, I was
not?
surprised. I get this email. I'm going to Vegas, or what did it say?
I think it was like that morning when I was about to get in the car.
I think it was that morning. I might as well go to Vegas. That's what it said.
I knew that Josh Duffy was going to be there for the Star Trek convention. He had invited, come to Vegas when I'm there. And I'm thinking, I've been so many times lately. And, but then I thought, why not? Why not just go? Plus, Eric and Stacy were in town. And it turns out Jeff Ellen was also in town. So why not go to Vegas?
Yeah.
Plus, I had a Palazzo offer that I needed to take advantage of, $925 in free play.
Nice.
And that was a result of when you and I were there for March Madness, right? And we were playing like maniacs. So probably a bigger offer than I deserve in general.
You should write a book, How to Retire.
Yeah, how to retire. What you do is you retire, number one, and then you just keep going to Vegas. First of all, you have to live close enough where a drive is not that big a deal.
Or you'd love to drive, and it doesn't matter where you live.
That's true. You don't mind being in the car for 24 hours.
It really is a nice thing I think I'll go to Vegas. Okay.
Oh, I know. 4.5 hours without traffic, and that was the way it was when I drove. So, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I went Wednesday through Saturday. Now, for whatever reason, I couldn't get Wednesday night at Palazzo. I even called and talked to somebody. Wednesday, for whatever reason, was sold out.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what would prompt that. But anyway.
They're probably doing the carpets or something.
Could have been carpet cleaning. Yeah, most of the rooms are closed.
Yeah, we had to close 8 floors because big mess.
Big party. They had no respect for property. So I got that Wednesday night just at Harrah's, just one night at Harrah's, and then the other 2 nights at Palazzo. And I met up with Josh and Eric and Stacy and Jeff. That first night we played at the High Limit bar at Resorts World. Most of my trip was video poker. We talked about on the last show how have our casino habits changed since joining this community, right? And this was definitely one of those trips. I played some other games too, and I'll talk about that. But mostly video poker. Resorts World bar was nice. The rest of the time, we played at the Solo Lounge at Fontainebleau. They have a video poker bar there. Mike, this was the room where we originally played craps at Fontainebleau. Remember, it was kind of this separate room, kind of looked like a high-limit area.
Right,
and kind of was.
Yeah.
So that's the room I'm talking about, although there are no table games in there right now. We talked to the bartender there. They said they were going through a bunch of changes, and right now it's slots, but they've got plans for the future, so who knows, it may change again. But we played video poker there. We even texted the Handy at the Shandy guys. The Solo Lounge bar might replace the Palazzo High Limit bar as far as a nice place to play video poker. The pay tables were better. The seats were closer together. Remember in that High Limit room at Palazzo?
Yeah.
The terminals were kind of far apart, which is nice. It gives you a little room, but then it's a little harder to talk to people, especially like 2 machines down.
Right.
And the bartenders were great, and they comp higher value drink. So I think it was like up to $61. They'll comp you a drink up to $61 when you're playing at Solo Lounge at Fontainebleau. So, yeah, we had a really good time there.
What's a $61 drink?
I don't know why the cutoff was $61 as opposed to $60.
Well, there's obviously one drink on there that's like $60.98.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe I'm misremembering. Who knows? One of the reasons I wanted to go too, and I invited Sherry initially. I said, Sherry, let's go to Vegas. And the two of us were going to go, but then our pets are not doing too well. And there was one time when Sherry and I left and a cat died on the kids. It's like our pets are we don't want them to go through that again because we would have just had our sons watch the cat and dog while we were gone. Anyway, it turned out to be just me. But one of the reasons I wanted Sherry to come along was we were going to check out Lake Las Vegas as a possible, maybe eventually moving to Las Vegas location.
Okay.
It would, no time soon, my mother is still here, my sisters, but, maybe eventually in the future. I did drive out to Lake Las Vegas while I was there just to check it out. I don't think it would actually be a good fit for us. It's a little ways out there, which is not too bad, but we like to be kind of in the center of things. Plus, there didn't seem to be too many parks around, places to walk. There were certainly places to walk, but we like pickleball too. One of the reasons we are spoiled right now is because our community here has a dedicated pickleball court. And at Lake Las Vegas, you'd have to sign up for the country club. And anyway, just didn't turn out to be a good fit for us. But I'm glad I checked it out.
Yeah, well, it'd be hard to find a place that, had a bunch of, quote, free pickleball places.
Right. I know it is kind of unusual, but it's kind of the trend now. So
right,
we'll keep looking. Again, this would be years in the future.
What about Red Rock area?
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of other places we can look. We just, that one kind of caught our eye initially. And so.
Okay.
And in fact, the bartender when we were at Solo Lounge was giving me a bunch of suggestions too when we were talking about it. So, yeah.
He wanted to share with you guys.
Yeah.
We can get a house together, the three of us.
That's right. I'm looking for a place. So let me tell you about this free play, Dr. Mike. So $925 in free play. So I'm thinking, there's a really good chance it's going to be table game free play. And a lot of times when it's table game, it's one bet only, meaning It's not a chip you put out there and it stays till you lose. You bet it, and then they take it away, win or lose.
Some crappy piece of paper.
Right, a piece of paper or chips.
Yeah. Sometimes chips, but a lot of times like a paper that's from a mimeograph.
That's what I get at Circa. Yeah, every time I go to Circa, that's what I get as a piece of paper. In this case, it was chips. I asked at the cashier, can I get this in machine play? Because then, you're getting $925 maybe in a Tito ticket or something like that, and it really is worth its value. Right, $925. And she said, oh, no, I really don't have the authority to do that. Go over to the Players Club, and maybe they can help you out. So I went over there, and they said, oh, sorry, we don't have the authorization to do that. Go talk to a host. It's like, okay, fine, maybe a host can do it. So I find a host over in the high limit area, and she looks at it and says, oh, are you a table games player? And I said, yeah, primarily table games. And she said, yeah, if you want slot play in the future, you've really got to up your slot game. Right now, we have to give it to you in table game chips because that's what you've played. So, okay, fine. I did all I could.
It seems like such a weird role to me because any free play that you give a person, it's good for the casino, right? It keeps them there. It promotes them gambling. It's almost like a no lose for the casino.
Right, but maybe they actually factor in whether you're a table games player or a slot player to determine how much you get. So since they knew I was a table games player and that they were going to give me one-time chips, they can say 925. Whereas if
knowing it's not worth it.
Right, knowing it's not worth it. Where if I'd been a slot player, maybe rated at the same level, they would have given me, $450 in real free play I could use as a slot.
Yeah.
So that could be. Anyway, I go up to the cashier. By the same cashier said, yeah, I couldn't do it. Please give me the free play in table game chips. And could you give it to me in all $25 chips? And I figured this was going to be an ask too, because that's a lot of $25 chips, right? That they would give me $925. She went and checked with her supervisor. The supervisor came back and said, we're kind of short on $25 chips, which, I doubt they were, but that was her excuse. She said, how about this? We'll give you $600 in $100 chips and then the rest in $25 chips. I said, okay, fine. So I took that.
You should have just said, okay, how about $5 chips? Yeah. How are you guys fixed for $5?
Because I could take those as well. I'll take a rack.
Yeah, just load them up, baby.
So I go to the craps table thinking, all right, the chips I have here are really worth $462.50, right? Half of $925.
Right.
And I'm prepared for that. So if I can turn that into about, $450, then I've done okay. So I go to the craps table buy-in. I'm talking to the box, and I say, can I use these chips anywhere? And he said, no, unfortunately, only pass line or don't pass. And so I'm thinking, okay, this doesn't surprise me either. That's the way it is at Hamul. I'm just going to have to play through this. But then he says to me, what you should do is go play these chips over at Free Bet Blackjack. Because then, you put your money out and any doubles or splits that you do, the casino pays for it, right? That's how Free Bet Blackjack works.
Right.
And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. It's a way to use one of these chips that apparently they only want you to use on even money wagers.
Right.
To get more than even money.
Right.
On a payout, yeah.
For instance, if every bet you got to double down, you'd in essence expect to get 950 back.
Right, yeah, exactly. So I said, that's a really good idea. I'm going to do that. Thanks. And the box said something like, okay, you're welcome. Don't tell anybody I told you that.
Yeah, right.
So I did that the next day. I went to Free Bet Blackjack. And sure enough, I was able to use them on there. And I started with the $25 chips. And my idea was, what I'm going to try to do? Once I get through all the $25 chips, I'm going to see if I can buy some of them back at the table. Sometimes they just put them to the side. They don't drop them down. They, just kind of keep them over in the corner. I'll see if I can buy them back. And as I'm playing, I finally asked the dealer, am I able to buy these back? And she said, no, we've got to drop them every time. You can't buy them back. I thought, okay, well, once I go through all the $25 chips, maybe I'll go back to the cashier with the $100 chips and see if I can convert those to 25 back at the cashier.
Right.
Okay, I'll be smart about that. Because I didn't want to bet, 100 a hand. Well, I went through the 25s and I was doing great. And I sat there and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to waste my precious time here in Vegas going and trying to argue to get more $25 chips in exchange for these. I'll just play hundreds. And it turned out to be a great move. Had some great double downs. I think once I was able to, split and then double down on one of the hands. Bottom line is that free play turned into $700 real dollars, which is way higher than their expected value.
Right.
Something to keep in mind. And I'm going to do that from now on when I have chips that are only one-time play. See if I can find some free bet. And it's a fun game anyway, too. It's very low, 1% house edge if you're playing it correctly. Check out Wizard of Odds, of course. And it's fun.
And a lot of places, though, do you see free bet in a lot of places?
It's pretty common, yeah. As blackjack variants go, I think it's one of the most common, yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, if you can get slot play, then obviously.
Sure, I'm going to do that, yes.
You're going to do that, yeah.
No royal flushes for me. Came close a couple times, as always.
Never going to happen.
Nope. Yeah, it's never going to happen. And I think on
happen.
previous episodes, we've talked about how we've resigned ourselves to it and we shouldn't complain about it anymore. We do still complain, I know. So I guess that's still going to happen. We're never going to hit it and we're never going to stop complaining about it.
Right. I think those are givens.
Yeah.
Now, when you do hit one, eventually,
when?
Probably have a heart attack and die.
Yeah, right. So I can't tell anybody. Any idea if he hit a royal? I don't know. He died. The casino cleared the screen.
Right.
We don't know.
I'll tell you what'll happen. You'll hit a royal, and then before it can actually pay out, the casino loses all power.
Yeah,
in some targeted foreign government attack on our nation, and nobody will ever know.
Yeah, nobody will know. Or it'll be on one of those machines that say malfunction or death voids all payouts.
Right. I hate those or death machines.
Yeah, they really try to avoid the casinos that have those.
Well, they're usually by the door somewhere for easy access to get the body out without a lot of people seeing you.
Speaking of blackjack variants, Jeff and I played Double Down Madness. It was one of the games he wanted to check out. We talked about it back on episode 315. You get to double down after only receiving one card, and you get to see the dealer's up card, but you only have one card. So, like, if you've got a 10 and he's showing a 6, well, that's a double down hand, right? Before that. Plus, after you double down, you can redouble or, like, take more cards, hit. So that's really the kick. Doubling down doesn't mean action is done for you. You still have more options after that. And it was a lot of fun. And there are other variations too. Like if you get a suited blackjack, you get paid 2-1, or there are some other things. I may be getting some of them wrong. But yeah, Jeff and I played for a little while. I got really lucky. Was just getting fantastic cards. Had some nice double downs and won a little bit of money of that. So I would recommend that too as a fun blackjack variant.
Okay.
You're not going to find it in nearly as many casinos as free bet, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then listeners Uda and John. Uda, I hope I'm getting your name right. I'd had a few when they introduced themselves. I guess we had met them originally, Mike, at an old VIMF.
Gosh.
Yeah, Vegas Internet Mafia Family Picnic.
That was a while back.
It really was. It was just at the Solo Lounge. He just saw me or heard me talking or whatever, said, oh, hey, John. And so great to see you guys again. And I guess that was my trip, Mike. I'm trying to think. I'm sure I'm forgetting something else. But again, great to see everybody. Oh, well, here, I'll tell you this. When we were at the Solo Lounge, Josh was saying, yeah, let's go. I'm looking forward to playing some Crapless Craps. He hadn't played any at all. So it's like, yeah, let's go. Went over to Crapless Craps at Fountain Blue. Just horrendous. I think Josh might have only stayed for 3 shooters. It was just, okay, establish a point. Okay, roll to 6. All right, 7 out. All right, establish a point. 7 out. I mean, terrible. Yeah. Nothing, right?
Right.
And we're going all the way across except for the 5 and 9. So that includes those extreme numbers. So we're putting out a lot of money every roll. Just to, bad taste in our mouths. And so no good luck with craps at all. That's where I lost all my money, basically, was at craps. At video poker, I maybe lost a little bit, maybe won a little bit, maybe broke even. So that was it.
That's hard, but that happens. I mean,
we're in a funk, you and I, the last few times, and it just continued for me with this trip. So
well, it's not like we haven't gone through this before.
Nope, nothing new.
Gives you a good excuse to complain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 4 trips and I haven't had a win. Okay.
So no scheduled trips on the horizon for either one of us. So
yeah, none for me. Yours is ask me again in a minute.
Right. There's some talk about maybe the beginning of December. Some of the guys from the casino poker group and from the home game. So maybe around December. We'll see. No plans.
Oh, that's too far away. Yeah, you've still got some of August left. You got September, October, November.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Just say for the next week.
All right. I have no plans to go to Vegas until our next episode.
Yeah.
But no guarantees.
But you're right. It might happen anyway. All it'll take is for somebody to text you or email you and say, yeah, I'm going to be in Vegas this weekend. Could you be there?
Sure.
Hint, Jim from New York.
Well, Dr. Mike, on our last episode, we talked about the Mark and Dr. Mike Casino. Got a lot of great feedback on that.
Yeah.
We got a couple responses. One from listener Jay. The AI apparently did not pick up on this. Apparently, at one point, you had suggested the name Cups for our casino in honor of slot machine coin cups, that they used to have in the old days.
Buckets, yeah.
Oh, buckets. That's better.
Yeah, buckets.
Okay, buckets. Anyway, thanks, Jay, for reminding us of that. And then Sean Wilson on Twitter, he sent us a nice mock-up of what our check-in kiosk would look like. And it included that spinning wheel. There's actually a slot where you could tip the kiosk, and then you'd spin a wheel for additional something. And the wheel had on it late checkout, room upgrade, suite upgrade, food and beverage credit, or free play. So it's a nice
and the wheel that spins, when it's spinning, it has to have something like a 1960s or 70s, like a Batman episode where it spins and
like it would spin between scenes in Batman.
Like that. Yeah. And maybe some like our faces going all over the place on the thing.
Coming in and out of the screen, just like on Batman, the Batman symbol would come out. Yeah. Good idea, Mike.
Those those kind of shows were always fun.
Oh, it's still fun to watch old Batman shows. Every once in a while I'll watch it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
They should make shows more fun. Maybe that's the problem with the world.
They should make shows more fun. Do you know how many shows there are out there, Dr. Mike?
I know,
there are
but
plenty of fun shows, all right?
I mean, fun like just wacky, goofy. They're trying to do that with that Stewart Saves.
Yeah, I was about to say Stewart Fails to Save the Universe, which nobody can get the title right. Sherry tries to say it. You tried to say it.
I know.
We
just say
it.
Stewart when Lynn and I are talking.
Yeah.
Oh, what time's Stewart on? And that show, it's a little wacky.
A little wacky?
Yeah, it's a little too wacky. Okay, how's that?
All right.
So I don't know how long that's going to be around, but
it's fun.
We need some wacky shows just to. I mean, there's a lot of shows that at the time were not thought to be too wacky, but now in retrospect, we go back and say, yeah, that was
like what? Give me one example.
Okay, Star Trek, the original.
Star Trek wasn't wacky. I mean, yeah, you can look back on it and think, oh, it's, campier, but wacky? No.
Well,
see, I'm calling you on this,
Spock's
Dr. Mike.
Brain episode?
No, that was just horrible, is what that wasn't wacky. That was just stupid and bad.
Where he's controlled by one little box
so bad.
To do everything?
So bad.
Gilligan's Island, although... you going in, you knew.
Yeah, you knew it was wacky. Okay? No, you can't come up with anything that is regarded as wacky now that wasn't wacky at the time.
H.R. Puffin stuff?
No, wacky at the time.
Wacky at the time? Okay. That was kind of wacky. But those were fun shows.
I'm not putting up with any more of this, Dr. Mike.
I shouldn't discuss TV with you anyway.
No, you shouldn't. Well, Dr. Mike, I just got done reading a book called Blood Game. So listener Jeff Boats, he's a math professor. You may remember a while back he sent us some books about craps that a colleague of his had written. Well, Jeff also sent me a copy of a novel that he wrote himself about a wannabe CIA agent who is on the spectrum. And it's called Blood Game. And Jeff himself is on the spectrum. So he's writing with some firsthand knowledge about what that's like. The novel is told in first person by his character, Thomas Vale, who ends up going to a poker tournament in Europe to try and find out if and how a terrorist group is being financed. So there's a lot of poker in there. That's kind of one of the reasons he sent it to me is, there's a lot of poker involved in it. Not so much poker that you need to know poker or even have to be a gambler to enjoy the book. Jeff does a good job of, explaining things related to the poker that his character is playing. So it's really, it's a thriller. It's more about that than actually playing poker.
Repeat the title for me.
Blood Game.
Blood Game.
Blood Game by Jeff Boats. His first name has an E at the end. So Jeffe Boats, just like boats sounds, Boats. He even put in an Easter egg. Well, I guess I'll call it an Easter egg. I don't know. But he put in this one little comment about the confusion surrounding hitting a soft 18 in blackjack. So I thought that was nice, right? Gosh, on our first show, we talked about how it's the most misplayed hand in blackjack, right? So,
right.
And Jeff's already released a sequel called Crying Call. So I assume that it will have poker elements as well. For those who don't know, Crying Call in poker is when you pretty much think you're beat, but you have to call because the pot is so big, or
you've invested.
There's
so
some
much.
reason you have to call, even though you're pretty sure you're going to lose. That's what a crying call is, yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to read that next as well. But anyway, yeah, Blood Game by Jeff Boats.
Great. I've been looking for something good to read. Yeah, I like to read right when I go to bed. I don't know why. It's just
you're not alone in that. Gosh.
Yeah, helps me fall asleep.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Mike, John Patrick, the gambling writer and author, has passed away. We got a really nice email from our buddy Ed O'Connor. I'm going to read his email here. John wasn't just another gambling author. He was the real thing, a lifelong gambler who earned the respect of countless casino players because he practiced what he preached. What many people may not know is that he was also a remarkable humanitarian. He almost single-handedly supported a home for blind children for many years and was deeply devoted to animal welfare, raising substantial amounts of money for numerous animal-related charities. I had the pleasure of seeing John several times in Atlantic City. He was always approachable, friendly, and willing to spend time talking with anyone who wanted to say hello. Some gamblers questioned portions of his methods, and not everyone agreed with every aspect of his philosophy. But one part of his teachings has stood the test of time, his Big Four and Little Three. The Big Four: bankroll. Never gamble with money you can't afford to lose. Keep a dedicated gambling bankroll. Knowledge. Thoroughly understand the game, its rules, and the odds before you play. Money management. Set win goals and loss limits. Protect your profits and avoid giving winnings back. Discipline. The hardest lesson of all. Have the self-control to follow your own rules and walk away when it's time. And then the Little Three. Theory. Understand how the game works mathematically. Logic. Make rational decisions, not emotional ones. Trends. Observe the flow of the game and use good judgment about when to stay and when to leave. And let me just interject here. Ed mentioned that, not everybody agreed with some of his opinions and methods and everything. And I think the Little Three might help with some examples here. Theory, understand how the game works mathematically. Well, unfortunately, John sometimes completely ignored the math, or at least went against the math. Specifically when it came to blackjack, he offered plays that were not part of what is now accepted as basic strategy. One glaring one was splitting fives. He would suggest that you split fives when the dealer was showing a 5 or a 6. Even in a single deck game, that's just wrong. You never split fives, right? You always double up fives. That's one example. And so he did get a lot of criticism for that. Plus, trends, observe the flow of the game.
Yeah,
what does he mean by that, right? The flow of the game. We as gamblers, we like the flow and thinking about the flow, but really, you can interpret that however you want, right? Flow can mean who's winning, who's losing. It could actually have legitimate aspects of the game that are telling you something, but just in general,
Yeah, it's kind of esoteric, that flow.
So that's really what it came down to as far as not everybody agreeing with him. Anyway, continuing with Ed's email. Whether or not you agreed with every one of his gambling philosophies, John Patrick left a lasting mark on the casino world. His emphasis on bankroll management, discipline, and personal responsibility helped thousands of players avoid costly mistakes. Rest in peace, John. You entertained, educated, and quietly made the world a better place. And I like how Ed put entertain there, because I was looking online. The Las Vegas Advisor, when talking about him, said that he emphasized entertainment above math. And whether or not John Patrick would have used those words himself, I think that kind of gives you an indication of what he was like. Mike, I remember the videos that he used to have out?
Yep.
Yeah. And one of our favorite movies, yours and mine, Dr. Mike, Honeymoon in Vegas. There's one scene where Nicolas Cage's character has one of John Patrick's videos on in the background. And they may have dubbed this line in, but it was definitely a John Patrick video, and it said something like, and of course, the unbeatable straight flush. And that's the hand that, Nicolas Cage's character just lost, right, as somebody beat him with a royal flush or a higher straight flush.
Remember when that first came out?
That was you, Paul, and I. Of course, the unbeatable straight flush.
I mean, that was the line we used so much. And of course, I get the unbeatable straight flush. Well, that is a very nice tribute.
Yes. Thanks for saying that, Ed. Yeah. Dr. Mike, we got an email from listener Walter B. from Aloha, Oregon. He said, I have run across a new, to me, slot system that I've tested for myself over the last year or so. It's called Cherries Matter, and there are multiple videos on YouTube for it. I did not create it, but have made a few tweaks to it to suit my play. You start with a betting amount that is 1% of what you staked into the machine. So if you put $200 into the machine, you're going to risk $2 a pull.
A pull, yeah.
You use a calculator while playing to record every single payback you get, no matter how big or small. So let's say you're, playing $2 a pull and you win $6. Okay, then you enter in $6. Or let's say you're playing $2 a pull and you got back, $1.20. Technically, you lost for the spin, but you still enter that $1.20, into the calculator.
Yeah, and some of those payouts you can be 40 cents.
Yeah, right. So you just every payout you enter in the calculator.
Okay.
As soon as the amount that you have left in the machine, the money amount you have left in the machine, equals or is less than what you've entered into your calculator, you stop. Okay. That's the system. Now, all this is a money management system. There's nothing, It's not an AP play by any means. Walter goes on, the method isn't for everyone, but it slows your play and gets you leaving the casino with a reasonable amount of action and ammo for your next visit. Again, the Cherries Matter method videos are all over YouTube. And this gets back to kind of the entertainment that we were talking about, right?
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
This is an approach where your goal is to be entertained for a certain amount of time,
right,
without blowing your whole bankroll.
Exactly. Thank you for that, Walter. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, that's not bad. That is really good for somebody who likes to go to casinos on a regular basis, like say a local casino or something,
mm-hmm.
but doesn't have the bankroll to bet wildly every day.
Right.
But still wants to go every day. Maybe they're retired. Maybe it's just the lifestyle they choose or like. Yeah, that kind of gives them a way to have fun with not blowing a lot.
And if you're disciplined, and for me, discipline is part of the fun for me. I know that it seems counterintuitive, but my personality, right? So
yeah, right.
It is some of it. So, if you can be disciplined with this and have fun, yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Somebody who's going out to their local casino, maybe once a week or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Or 2 or 3 times a week or whatever, just, and then hopefully every once in a while you get some big payout, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Mike, for a while, the contact page on our webpage has not been working. And it's still not working. Again, it's out of my hands. It's the responsible of Liberated Syndication, or Libsyn, our host. I finally just got fed up. It's been so long. I've taken it off the page.
What is taking them so long?
I don't know. They're just dragging their feet, or it's just not a priority. So, again, if you need to get a hold of us, you can bet on that at gmail.com. That's all that contact page did anyway, was send us an email at that address. So contact page is gone. If I ever hear it's working again, maybe I'll put it back on there, but it's gone.
Okay. I mean, it's not hard to contact us anyway. Just ask anybody on the street. Yeah. How do we get a hold of those guys?
Yeah. All of our links now are at the top of the page too. So if you go to youcanbetonthat.com, you'll see our email address up there too. So
now, I don't know much about web design.
No, you don't.
The pages and all that and everything. But when I go to ours, I find it pretty easy to navigate.
Yeah, it's fine. I wish it were a little more sophisticated, but it's the basic web page that Libsyn provides. And I would like to have a better web page, but I don't want to jump through all the hoops that would require, because it's not just a matter of going in and designing it. There are other issues because the page is currently hosted by Libsyn. Anyway, that's why it is the way it is. But it's very simple. All the links are pretty much there.
No, but I like that. I like the simple, easy to navigate kind of things. I hate sites that I've gone to that are so complicated. After a few minutes, you're like, I don't know what's going on. You know,
I just want a taco.
Yeah.
That's all I want is one taco.
And maybe a flying saucer.
Yeah, a flying saucer or a torta.
No guacamole on the torta.
No, see, now you're making it too confusing, right? That's because you need a confusing website in order to make those extra requests.
Yeah, that's true.
No, just one taco, Dr. Mike.
A taco and a small tab.
Small tab. Small, no ice.
All of our drinks are with no ice, sir.
Oh.
Ugh.
Dr. Mike, there's a new podcast out there by a couple of well-known names. Tim Lawson and Vinny Chens have started their own podcast. It's called Chasing Even. And what makes this podcast new and exciting is, boy, they are two completely different people when it comes to gambling.
Yeah, just from our knowledge, I'd say that's unlikely pairing.
They're still trying to decide what the ultimate format's going to be and their interaction and everything. So it's definitely two different points of view. And I think they dropped their third episode. They've got 3 episodes out, at least at the time of our recording here. So check it out, Chasing Even with Tim Lawson and Vinny Chens.
Good. How often are they coming up with an episode?
So they've dropped a bunch right at the beginning so people can listen. But their plan is to release it on the same week that you and I release, just later in the week. I can't remember, it was like Wednesday or Thursday. So every other week.
Ah, okay.
I think what it really is you got, so one week you'll have us and Chasing Even. And then the next week you'll have Handy at the Shandy, and they usually put out at least 2 hours of content, right?
Yeah.
So twice as much as either of us.
So people should be able to get a gambling fix on a consistent basis.
I think that's the idea, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. You can bet on that.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. That means it's voicemail time. First up, our buddy Todd got us.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, Todd from Minnesota here. I'm loving this nostalgic trip report idea from Brett last episode. So here's my first trip to Vegas report, and more importantly, my first crap session story. It was June 2001, and I had purchased a vacation package from Quickstar, which was an online web version of Amway. Remember them? It was for 3 nights at the Tropicana. I told my buddy who joined me that we should arrive in style and got a limo at the airport, not even realizing that the Trop is basically the shortest possible drive from the airport. But oh well. I knew the rules of craps only from online and web versions of the game. Think late 90s versions of Paradise Poker Casino, which often had blackjack, roulette, Caribbean stud, and craps games too. I had never actually seen live craps, as we don't have it in Minnesota. So I spent the first day just going from casino to casino, watching craps from the side so I wouldn't make a fool of myself when I played it for real. I was 22 years old, but I looked like I was 12. And multiple times the boxmen or dealers would ask to see my ID even though I wasn't playing, only watching. Finally, on the second day, I decided I was going to play. So I took $60 out of my wallet at the Tropicana, waited for the come-out roll. I'm actually kind of surprised I knew about that courtesy rule at the time. But I dropped it onto the felt. The dealer slid me the checks and the dice were sent to the shooter. I was shocked they didn't ask for my ID. The strategy I played at the time was placing the 6 and 8 for $12, waiting for one hit, reducing them both to $6, hopefully getting a second hit, and then taking everything down, locking in a $21 profit. After the come-out roll, I put the checks out there and said, place the 6 and 8 for $12, please. The first roll was an 8. Awesome. Reduced the 6 and 8 to $6. The dealer kind of looked at me strange, but he did what I said. Next roll, another 8. Take me down, please. $21 just like that, and I ordered a rum and coke from the waitress. Next shooter, same thing. $12, 6 and 8. It hit, I reduced them, and then the boxman said, I'm going to need to see some ID there. I chuckled to myself thinking, oh, if I had been losing, no need for the ID, right? But I'm winning. Long story short, the 12-6 off strategy worked brilliantly that session for an $84 win. Now the embarrassing part. I started walking away with a mountain of red and white checks. I could barely get my hands cupped into a bowl to hold them all. The dealer chimed in and said, sir, I can color you up. And he was motioning for me to come back to the table. I had no idea what he was talking about. I just kind of shook my head and kept walking towards the cage. I'm sure I didn't tip them either. Another lesson learned for the newbie. Anyway, it was a great trip. I won over $300 in craps that weekend and have been hooked on craps and Vegas ever since. Thanks for keeping this podcast the best one out there, guys. Bye.
I'm sure he felt like a genius, too. Like he'd figured the game out, right? That's a great feeling, yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely relate to that at a young age, you know. winning some money and thinking, I've got this.
Oh, yeah. And it's not like I'm trying to win a lot of money. $21, I can go buy a meal now. It was all
Right.
free.
Well, that was what, 20 years ago?
Yeah. Gosh, and
Or
imagine
so.
us,
Or-
right?
yeah.
40 years ago. What about $21 going to the steakhouse?
Right. That was like your starting money.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seriously going to Vegas with like $100.
Oh, yeah.
And thinking, oh, that's fine. We'll be good.
Yeah.
Of course, we could play $2 blackjack
It
then.
was a
That's
little different,
$1,
yeah.
and it was a little different world.
All right, let's hear from our buddy Robin Aubin.
Well, hello, gentlemen. And yes, I'm talking to the two of you. This is real Robin. Or is it AI Robin? Well, I do miss seeing you at the crap stable. Someday soon, I hope. But this call is a more nostalgic type of fan call. I've lost 30 pounds since my birthday cruise.
Nice.
My new wardrobe of things I haven't worn in over 20 years is awesome. I'm wearing shirts from places that are long gone. Some examples include the Gold Coast Casino barge in Biloxi and many from Las Vegas, such as the Reserve Hotel, the Lady Luck Casino. That brings me to today's nostalgic 4 questions for each of the two of you. So I'd like you to name a restaurant, a casino, a hotel, and some miscellaneous something that's gone forever and you wish you could visit it one last time. And it's anywhere on the Strip or downtown. So I'll go first. As far as restaurant and bars go, the Holy Cow, which was the first brew pub in Las Vegas, brewing its own beer right across from the old Sahara. The casino would be the Reserve Casino, with its African theme and full-pay VP, which was later bought by Stations Casinos and rebranded as Fiesta Henderson. And finally, Vacation Village. Vacation Village was a small, dumpy casino southwest of McCarran, and if you stopped there, whether you were playing or not, you could get one free spin of their wheel and possibly get your airfare refunded. No matter who we went with, that was the place that we stopped first before we got to our hotel. Okay, now it's your turn. You guys are the best. Thank you for everything that you give to us every other week. Ciao.
All right. Thank you, real
Thanks.
or maybe not real Robin.
I love that.
And congratulations on the weight loss. So
Yes.
you and I, we went to the Reserve once. Do you remember that, Mike?
I was just going to ask you if you remembered that.
Yeah.
It had like the African theme.
I'm really surprised and pleased that we did. It was that one trip back in the 90s where we tried to go to as many casinos around town as we
Right.
could, not strip
Right.
casinos, not downtown casinos.
We went to quite a few.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember, but as soon as he said that, I'm like, oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
was the.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see if we can answer his questions. Now, he said the strip or downtown, but his examples were not necessarily the strip or downtown.
Right.
So
they
I
were
think he
off-strip.
basically just means Vegas. But let's go through this list. Let's each give our opinion. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? We'll
go
do one
ahead.
at a time.
You can-
All right.
yeah,
we'll,
you can go.
We'll start with a restaurant. I'll do the restaurant first. The restaurant for me would be the coffee shop at Harrah's Las Vegas.
Oh, that's what I was going to
Yeah,
say.
I knew we both really missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so nice because it was 24/7.
Convenient, had all the classic
yeah.
coffee shop stuff, had Keno
Yeah.
runners. Yeah,
Right.
I really miss that.
Yep.
So now you've got to come up with a restaurant.
Oh, gosh. That's not there anymore.
Yeah. Or I mean, I guess we don't necessarily have to have different answers. If that
Yeah.
you want that to be your answer, that's fine too.
That
Yeah,
would
that's
be my
good.
answer. I mean,
Okay.
as soon as he said that, I thought, well, it's got to
That's
be
what I
that
was thinking
Harrah's
too. Okay, let's
coffee
do that.
shop. But we ate there so much.
All right, why don't you go next then? A casino that is gone forever, but we wish we could visit one last time.
For me, it's probably going to have to be the Desert Inn.
Yeah, it was going to be Desert Inn or Stardust for me, but
Stardust
yeah, I
is
agree.
another great one.
Yeah, you know what? If I had to pick casino, not just overall property, yeah, Desert Inn.
Yeah. You know what I liked about Desert Inn? you walked in there and it was a big open area.
Mm-hmm.
It was spacious, which at the
Yeah.
time was not really common.
Right. Mhm.
I mean, most of the casinos were low ceilings and packed in and kind of smoky and everything. And then you go to Desert Inn, it was open. It was like,
Yeah. All right, hotel. Gosh, I'm trying to think of a hotel that's no longer there that I guess I'll say Stardust. Since we went with Desert Inn for casino, maybe I'll go Stardust for a hotel. I can't think of any hotel that used to be there that I really liked. Can you?
I'm going to give you one that not so much that I liked. It's not there anymore, and I kind of miss it because it was kind of an icon.
That's good enough.
But Landmark.
Landmark. Oh, God. All right, I will accept that. That place was a dump.
A dump.
But it's funny that you're saying that hotel. We stayed there once. You could hear everything going on in every other room in the hotel.
Yeah, it was a dump. But for people who don't know, it was odd shaped for the time
Very
period.
gimmicky, yeah.
Very gimmicky. In my head, anyway, it's like, okay, that's Vegas. There's the Landmark.
Yeah. What about this last one? Some miscellaneous something. I was racking my brain trying to think of this too. There was that water park that used to be on the Strip. I don't know that I miss it or would like to go back to it. I don't think I ever went to it to begin with.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of some other attraction that's not there. I guess we could say like the
theme park behind.
Oh, okay. The theme park at MGM. Gosh, now you could
yeah.
even say the volcano at Mirage, right?
Yeah, the volcano at Mirage.
So
That actually, that's a really good one. The
Yeah.
volcano at Mirage.
Yeah.
Because when that first came out, that was kind of like the thing, right?
Oh, it was,
you've got to see the volcano.
yeah,
explode.
you had the Mirage, which on its own was like, wow, we've never seen anything like it. Oh, and by the way, out front a volcano goes, oh, yeah. Okay, that's our choice, the volcano.
The volcano, yeah, for both of us probably.
Yeah.
And for me, those big marquee signs that had to be manually
Changed, right?
changed.
Yeah, big cranes.
I always thought, what a job. You're the guy that has to go out every day and, change the marquee or whatever.
All right, well, thanks for those questions, Robin.
Always, always good to hear from Rob.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey guys, it's Scott in Florida. Got a trip report from our Barcelona to Rome cruise. We flew into Barcelona a day early, so I stopped at the Casino Barcelona. Nice casino. You do need a passport to get into the door. All the usual games, except craps. Nice poker room, pretty decent-sized poker room. It was packed. I think they had a tournament going on at that time. I sat down at the Baccarat table. Interesting game in Baccarat where you give the dealer your money, they put it into a machine, and there's a screen embedded in front of your seat, and that's where you place your bets from. Live dealer, and you get to hold the cards, though, so it's the regular game. It's just no chips. One little interesting thing, coming out of the shoe, both red and blue cards, which they must shuffle red and blue decks together. That seems a little weird, but I've never seen that before. I struggled a little bit with the gambling, but I was less than 100 euros down, so not too bad. We stopped in Nice. In the taxi cab, we actually passed a big, nice-looking casino attached to a hotel, but where we got dropped off, there was another casino, very small, very dark. It was daytime. None of the table games were open, and there weren't very many of them at that. I did go in, took a look around. You did need your passport again to get in. I put 50 euros into a blackjack machine. Was completely lost. I didn't know what button was hit, what button was stand because of the language. I did notice abandon, which I took to mean surrender. And I did surrender on one hand, which I had the 16 against the 10. Probably made 10 euros, so not too bad there. But very small, not very nice casino there. One little story from the cruise ship. I was playing mostly Baccarat, but I played the roulette mostly red-black. And at some point I left. And the next morning, they said, "Oh, we've been looking for you." I'm like, "Okay, what are you looking for me for?" And they're like, "Here's $200. You left $200 on the roulette table on red. You must have walked away and you won the hand." So I don't know what happened there. I maybe thought I'd lost. I'm not actually sure what happened there, but that was a nice little find. We did not go to the Monte Carlo casino. We actually did want to go there, but it was about 105 degrees, and we had heard that you have to have long pants to get in there. And also it would have been about another 30 or 40-minute train ride from where we were. So we ended up taking a pass on that. Kind of wish we could have gone, but didn't happen. Last thing is, on that cruise, you're in the Mediterranean Sea, and one day they didn't open till midnight, one day they didn't open at all, and another day they opened at 10 p.m. And I asked them why, and they said that Italian laws are very strict and that we could not open in Italian waters, and so I guess on their route, it really severely limited their casino hours on the cruise ship. Anyways, love the show. Thanks a lot. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
All right. Thanks for the international report, Scott.
Yeah, they probably have to be in international waters.
Yeah.
And there's a certain limit. So if they're hugging the coast there for the view or whatever, they might not be out far enough till a certain time. I mean, I think they have to go out there to gamble.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting, basically no chips at the baccarat table, just all electronic. That certainly saves time as far as the casino goes, because then they don't have to deal with the 5% commission on banker bets.
I'm sure it's good for the casino. I just like handling the chips.
Oh, yeah. If you're playing a game like Baccarat, which is the only reason to play, as far as I'm concerned, is because you get to touch the cards and the social aspect of it. Yeah, you'd want to have real chips, too, that you can put out there and all that.
Right. I mean, it's in all the games. I mean, it's kind of nice handling the chips, playing with them. And I mean, it's probably my nervous habit. But, you know,
it's like poker players go into a poker tournament, right? It's just a den. Of all those riffling chips,
They should have more paddles where you slide your chips out on a paddle.
Oh, well, and, and some of those big games, like at Monte Carlo, right, where it's those big baccarat tables,
Tiles,
right? Yeah, they're using those paddles to send out the cards and everything, too. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's all part of the majesty of the game.
Yeah, right. And you feel like James Bond when you're sitting there.
All right, last call. The audio is a little tough at first, but it recovers quickly.
From Hamrock, Texas. I was inspired by hearing some of those first Vegas trips, and I just wanted to share mine. It was 2007. It was my brother-in-law's bachelor party, and I was not a big casino gambler. I like to play poker with my friends, but casino gambling wasn't really my thing. I was just there for about 24 hours. I brought $200 in cash, which was a significant amount of money for me at the time. And I played a little bit of blackjack, a little bit of craps. I think it was the afternoon. I flew in the night before that. Next afternoon, I was down to my last $5. And I had fun, and it was the kind of thing like, I would come back to Vegas maybe for 5 years or 10 years or so. So I had my last $5, and I put it on the roulette wheel on 28, because my wife was 28 years old. And they spin the wheel, and then I just remember at the last second, she just turned 29. And I moved that 5 to 29. 29 hits. I get like $170, and it just allowed me to keep on playing for the rest of the night. I was up some, down some, but just had a fantastic time. I played a ton of craps, a ton of blackjack, and just fell in love with Vegas. And like I said, if I was out of money, I had a good time, and I probably would have came every 5 years, 10 years. I got a trip coming up in October, and I just counted. This is trip number 22. So that switch of $5 to 28 to 29 at the last second probably cost me a lot of money in the end, but also had a lot of fun as a result. So I love your show. We still go. Like I said, we play craps. We go to the pool. We watch football, and love to play craps with you guys sometimes. Thanks. Bye.
There you go. Once again, an initial win might hurt you in the long run, but at least you're having some fun, Chris.
Well, that's okay. It's good to have some fun as long as you don't lose the house or anything.
Well said, Dr. Mike.
Got to do what makes you happy.
Yep. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. From Kurt S., from Nathan B., and from the National Association of Casino Party Operators. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from our buddy Robin, who we heard from earlier, and a donation from listener Eric R. For my first Royal Flush I hit. Mark and Dr. Mike 0, me 1. Well, thank you very much, Eric. And I think Mark and Dr. Mike's going to be 0 for a while. We've already discussed. Hey, you can buy merchandise for You Can Bet On That and The Better Life and Handy at the Shandy at bettermerch.com. That's BETTOR merch.com. You'll find a link for that at the top of our webpage. Also on our webpage, you'll find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television in the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. If you're looking for a movie to watch, check out our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. If you want to listen to songs with gambling-related lyrics, check out our You Can Bet On That Spotify playlist. Just click the link towards the top of our webpage. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at You Can Bet On That and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Handing it over to you, Dr. Mike.
Hey, Mark, guess what's here?
Summer?
Football season.
Oh, football season. Yeah, the preseason's already started. Oh, God.
Oh, those preseason games. I just tune in and watch a few minutes, then tune to something else.
Oh, yeah, maybe I'll have them on the background, but no,
Yeah.
I'm not really paying much attention.
No, because it doesn't really mean anything. You don't know any of the people in there, and half of them aren't even going to be there when the season starts. But it is football, and it's back, and it won't be too long until we have real football.
All right, and of course, I will have you make all of our football picks for us.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking the other day? You know what I like about doing that? I don't even care win, lose, or money or anything. I just like trying to figure out, is this game going to cover? Is it not going to cover? Is it going to be over or under? Or it's just the whole looking up information.
You're participating in football.
Yes, I'm participating in the only way I can now.
Well, we'll talk about this a lot more in the weeks coming up.
Yep, it'll be here quickly. And getting on to a more gambling thing, that's a big reason a lot of people go to casinos who may not go the rest of the year, but they go for football season, play some blackjack or craps or whatever and watch the games and make bets. I know around here a lot of these guys don't go to casinos during the other times of the year, but football season comes and they're like, every other week going to some casino somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, just wanted to bring that up. I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. We will talk again in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Good night.
To Laughlin.
Loveland.
To Laughlin?
To Laughlin.
I'm good.